Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. My name is Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I'm really excited about today's episode because we're talking about repeat selling, or specifically repeat buying, why people do it and how you can start implementing it in your business. So it's going to be a big episode, actually. I'm quite looking forward to this one. We've touched upon it in a few different episodes up until now, and I've kind of talked about the importance of repeat buyers. But this week, it hit home for me, let's say. I went out, I had an experience, and I was like, oh my goodness, everyone should be implementing repeat buying strategies, and realized just how important it was. So apologies for my delay on recording it, but here it is. I hope you like it. So this week off, I went out into the big bad world of Southampton city centre, did a little bit of shopping. I have been purchasing things for Sam going away. So we've been going out and doing a lot of shopping recently for really random things like parts of tents and effectively like strange bum bag type things that you can take to the desert. So we've been doing a lot of shopping, and to ease the pain of looking at yet another pair of khaki trousers, I decided to go into John Lewis. Now I've got a bit of an obsession with John Lewis, and I'll talk about that in a bit because it's actually really, really relevant to what we're talking about today. But off I went to John Lewis, and I have two favourite parts of John Lewis. My first favourite part of John Lewis is obviously handbags, because they have a Mulberry outlet in John Lewis, and I love it, and I just kind of stand there and look at things. And, you know, thank God that I bought all of my handbags years ago. And that Mulberry are really well made, so they just kind of keep going. And then the second favourite part for me is the makeup aisle. Now, I'm one of those people who I've got freakishly sensitive skin, so there's actually a lot of makeup brands that I can't use. And there are lots of like, this is getting so intimate, isn't it? Lots of makeup brands, I've got such sensitive skin. But I really do have sensitive skin, and so for me, there are only two brands that I can use on my skin, and one of them is Dermalogica. And Dermalogica, you may or may not know, is quite expensive, okay? You know, you're talking like £60 for a tiny pot of stuff that will last you probably 6 to 8 weeks, which is actually pretty good in the makeup world. But it's really good for my skin, and since using it, you know, there've been all these plus points, which I won't go into because, let's face it, nobody actually cares. But I went over to Dermalogica, and they had this offer on, and they were like, look, spend over £45 today and you'll get a free 30-minute facial. Now that's great, because actually Dermalogica, if you go and you buy a 30-minute facial from them off the cuff, so to speak, it's going to cost you about £40 anyway. So I was like, well, I could just buy the products that I know I'm going to need more of in about a week, and then I'm going to get this free facial. And I could use it right up until October. So I thought, well, that's good, because September for me is going to be manic. You know, we're going to be saying goodbye to Sam, doing all of that kind of stuff. But then I can treat myself to the facial and all will be well with the world. So I look around for products. Average cost of products in Dermalogica, you're probably looking at between £30 and £50 is your average product value. So I go in, I buy two things. It costs me £80. So I've spent almost double their requirement. And so I get my voucher for my 30-minute treatment, and I'm like, woo, this is great. And off I go. And as I'm going home, I say to Sam, oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Because now I can go back in a few weeks' time, and I'll try and go back end of September, like beginning of October, just when I'm running out of everything else. And he's like, oh, well, I'll make tons of money out of you. And of course, the switch then flipped, and I realised that I had completely bought into this repeat buyer strategy. And I wanted to walk you through different ways of doing it today, because let's face it, not everyone can give out a voucher and say, hey, come along for a free facial in 2 months. That doesn't always work. But there are lots and lots of ways that you can increase your repeat buyers in your business. And actually, it's really important to do so. You know, in my business, over 70% of people become repeat buyers. So that means that over 70% of my customers, I'm not having to pay any extra to get. I'm not having to spend any more money on cold traffic. I'm not having to spend any more time really, you know, warming them up and making them know, like, and trust me. They've already gone through that. What we're doing is retaining them, and we're encouraging them to buy things that are going to continue helping them from us. Because the reality is that once someone has bought from you once, they already know how good you are. You know, they already know that your stuff works. They already know that they like you, they trust you, that they're going to get results. And so actually, if you tell them to go elsewhere, it's a more difficult decision for them, because having to find somebody else that can help them in the same area or a similar area is actually a lot more faff than just buying from you again. Okay, so there are two things about this episode. One that we're not going to cover today, which is all about value ladders, and I will cover that in the future. But the second thing is this idea of repeat selling to your audience is a good thing. Retaining your audience is a really good thing, and you've got to find the best way for you to do it. So let's look at the key things that go into repeat buyers and ways that you can differentiate yourself in the market. The first one is experience. So people come back again and again and again if you give them a great experience. Now, if you don't want to compete on price, this is your best option. Experience is key. As I was talking about earlier, in the UK, we have this department store called John Lewis, and I love it. I'm a massive advocate for John Lewis. I just think their company is great. I think it's really well run. They have a share scheme for employees, which means that every time you go in there, you get the best service, because at the end of the year, they tot up, how well the company's done, and they do this share of profits with the staff members that work there. So not only do they get their normal wages, but they also get this incentive of a bonus at the end of every year. And as a kid, or as a teenager, I had lots of friends that worked for the John Lewis brand, worked for John Lewis or for Waitrose. And every year they'd be really happy. They'd get, their bonus on top of what they were earning. And so when they were going into work, it wasn't that they were going into work and being your typical teenagers at a checkout and being like, yeah, what do you want? This is how much it is. Off you go. If you've ever been served by a teenager at all, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Instead, they really were proud of the departments they worked in. Now, obviously, when I was like 17, we just took the mickey out of this, because there is only so much excitement I think you can have about working in the frozen foods department. Apart from the fact it's going to freeze your hands off over time, I couldn't personally get really excited about, different types of chicken and stuff that they would be selling. But my friends really enjoyed it, and enjoying it and being rewarded meant that they gave a great experience to the customer. Now, experience is something that every single company can compete on. John Lewis actually always price higher in the market. They do offer a price match service. So if you can find somewhere in the last, I think it's 30 days, you can go in and you can ask them to price match, and generally they'll do it. But on the whole, they are more expensive than the majority of department stores. Yet, when you want to buy something expensive, when you want to buy a TV like we did recently, or you want to buy something techie, or you want to buy, really good clothes, good quality handbags, skincare, that kind of thing, everyone goes to John Lewis because the experience is so good. They always have great service. You're always going to get somebody who knows what they're talking about. You're always going to get people who are helpful. The staff are really well dressed. They all turn up in suits and stuff for work. And those things make a massive difference. Okay, they make a massive difference to the experience of the customer. And when your customer is happy, they keep returning. So the first thing you want to be thinking about is, if I don't want to compete on price, how am I competing on experience? What am I doing so that my customers feel really good about buying from me? Is it as simple as, when they complete a course, we're sending them a certificate and saying, hey, well done. We're identifying that you are a graduate and that's amazing, and they want to keep getting that feeling? Or is it that you give really great customer service? Is it that when people email in and ask questions, you're really responsive, or you take the time to give them a really solid response? Is it the case that when people join your programs, you're on hand, you've got clear boundaries, really good office hours, you're there to support them? What is the experience your customer's getting? And is it making them want to come back for more? The second thing that I always think about when I think about repeat buyers is added extras. Okay, now who's with me here? Who loves an added extra? I really do. I'm an absolute sucker. If somebody says to me, and this happens at car dealerships more often than not, you can buy this £10,000 car, and if you buy it, we're going to give you free car mats worth about £10, right? But as soon as they say it to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's an extra thing. I want it. I also do the same. I incidentally go to a car wash where, this sounds really sad, doesn't it? I go to a car wash where when they wash my car, they put a little air freshener in there. And it's the stupidest thing, and it really, I could go out and buy 20 air fresheners if I actually wanted to. But I just like the fact that when I get in my car and it's been valeted inside and out and it looks really good, they put this really nice little air freshener in there and it lasts until the next time I go and have my car washed. Now, I just don't have my car washed that often, so I'm going to be honest, like my car probably gets washed every 2 or 3 months, and that's a rarity. But it's really good because every time I go, I get this added extra of the air freshener. They're always really helpful. And so I drive out of my way to go to that particular car wash, because if I go into the Tesco car park one, or, you know, the other one that's slightly more local to me, they don't do a good job. You know, they don't do as good a job, and I don't get my air freshener. And so that really makes a difference to my buying decisions. Now, the cost of the air freshener to them is about 50 pence, if that, okay? So it's not that they're going out of the way to add a huge extra that's costing them a fortune or that's super, super premium. But that added extra combined with the experience I get makes me feel like it's a premium experience and keeps me wanting to go back for more. Now, in the case of John Lewis, we were talking about them earlier, their added extras are great. They tend to do extended warranties on everything. So when you go to John Lewis, if you buy anything from their technical department, generally it's got a 5-year guarantee. And that's on top of the manufacturing guarantee. So John Lewis have their own version. Now, I don't know how many customers actually use that warranty, because if you're anything like me, you come home, you bung your receipts in a filing cabinet and, you know, they kind of stay there. And it's only after about 10 years that you think, oh God, yeah, I had that guarantee. I wonder what's up with that. So I'm not sure how many people take it up. But again, a lot of people choose to shop there because it's an added extra that isn't costing them a lot to produce or to uphold, but actually means a lot to the customer. It makes a big difference to the customer. So think about it. You know, are you adding any extras? Is it that they get, you know, if they buy, for example, when people buy into my Dotties membership, they get access to 3 other paid for resources that they'd normally have to buy on top of any other program. So for example, if you join the Dotties, it costs you £45 a month, but you get access worth to over £100 worth of actual paid for resources as part of that, totally free. So again, it doesn't cost me anything. And yes, I probably could upsell everyone in the membership to buying it, but the loyalty factor and the fact that it adds into the experience that they're getting and enhances that makes a huge difference, and it keeps people returning. Okay, so think about it. You know, what are you adding as an extra that wouldn't cost you a lot? Is it a free gift? Is it adding in a mini course that they get for free? Is it giving them a checklist or a PDF guide or something like that that you normally charge for, but because they've already bought something, they're getting it totally free of charge? Okay. If you're in the product space, is it that they get a free product? Is it that they get an extended warranty or guarantee on it? You know, think carefully about what you want to add, but added extras can be a really good way to go if you don't want to be giving something for free or, you know, giving discounts. Now, the third thing that I really like, and again, I'm a complete sucker for this. This is why I'm such a good repeat buyer. If you can get me to buy from you once, then I'll be there for life if you do these things. So number 3 is referral or reward schemes. Now, this is huge, and it's been huge for years and years and years. If you're in the UK, you probably have a Boots card or a Nectar card or a John Lewis card. Basically, they're points cards. And every time you go in, you spend some money, they swipe your card, and you get a certain amount of points per pound that you spend. Now, this is huge because actually this retains customers. They're like, oh, great. You know, I've got free money to spend on my card. And generally your customers will come back and they'll spend way more than was actually on their points card in the first place. I do this a lot with Waterstone. So I'm a real bookworm, and you get this kind of little voucher thing. And every time you earn £10 worth of vouchers, you get a free £10 book. Now, it sounds to a lot of people that it might take them ages, but for me, I read a book a day. So actually, it doesn't take me very long to stack up these points. And at the moment, I've got about £40 worth of vouchers on my Waterstones cards, which means that I know I'm going to go in probably in a week or two's time and end up spending £40 or £50 on books. You know, that's a repeat sale. It's a repeat sale that they probably, you know, wouldn't have. And I will always end up spending more than is on the card. So think about, you know, your referral or reward schemes. Another really good example of this is if you have ever referred a friend for anything. So I did this recently. I referred a friend for a suitcase brand that I love, Away Suitcases. And my friend said, oh yeah, I was referred. When they asked her, how did you find out that? She put referred from a friend. And she wrote my name down when they emailed her to follow up. And they gave me 10% off my next purchase. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So, there really are lots of different options and lots of different ways to refer or give referral rewards for your customers or develop new reward schemes for them. Think about it. Are you doing anything that incentivizes your buyers to be able to buy more from you? Can they get points? Can they earn points? Can they, if they take certain actions, get more points and be eligible for different rewards? Those kinds of things can be really, really good. And typically in product-based businesses are fantastic because, these are things that actually help your customers make instant buying decisions. Buy one, get one half price, refer a friend, get 50% off. It works really well in the hospitality industry. Buy a spa day and get, 50% off if you invite a friend. It's those kinds of things that they do make a big difference and actually can help you clinch that sale over and above a competitor. And then finally is what I call the free upsell. Okay, so let's look at my dermatological example from earlier. Yes, okay, my treatment free that I'm getting is worth about £40 to them as a paying customer. But what will happen is that I'll end up going, they'll do the facial, and at the end of the facial, because I've had these before, they tell you, these are the products I used on you today. Would you like to trial any? Would you like to take any home? And generally they'll give you a couple of little testers. But also because you've just had this amazing experience for free, you're like, oh my God, of course I want to buy all the products. So you end up going home with a bunch of products. And like I said, I'll probably end up spending another £80, which actually in the grand scheme of things gives them £40 profit. And if they're doing that with every single customer, that's an awful lot of profit right there. Okay, it's a really smart way to get people coming back. So think about it. Is there anything that you are upselling for free? Is there an experience? If you are an aromatherapist or a masseur or, somebody in the holistic therapy kind of space, are you giving out, buy 5 treatments, get your 6th for free? I go and get my eyebrows done, again, at a really specific place. You guys have to learn a lot about my buying habits. I'm really sorry about that. But I go and get my eyebrows done at a specific place because, again, they have this reward scheme where you go, you pay for 7, you get your 8th for free. And it sounds really daft, and it's not about the money. It's just about the fact that I know that I go there and I enjoy it and I like the people and they do a good job and I get my 8th for free. So why would I not go there? Sam does the same with his haircuts. You go and after 5 stamps on your card, you get a certain amount off. And after 10 stamps, you get a free haircut or something like that. And it's these little things that keep us coming back. So when you're looking at whether or not you can upsell for free, think about what you can actually give away. Companies that are really good at doing this tend to be companies like spas. They'll often give you a really cheap deal on a spa day, and they'll often throw in a free lunch, okay? And the free lunch will usually be a sandwich or a bowl of soup or something like that. And the actual incentive is to make their profit on the drinks that they serve the customer, or whether they can upsell them into afternoon tea, or you'll often find that they'll give a discount on further treatments. If you go and you get 1 treatment free for 30 minutes, they'll often say on your confirmation email, hey, 20% off all other treatments if you book beforehand. Okay, there are lots and lots of things that you can do to be encouraging repeat buyers. And what I'm seeing in the market is that not everybody is maximizing the opportunity, and it's a real shame because actually it's much harder to work for new clients than it is to get your existing clients to buy from you again and again and again, as long as you continue to help them, you continue to add value, and you continue to give a great experience. So that's all for this week. Let me know, hit me up with an email, let me know how you are going to be increasing your repeat buyers. And bear in mind that we are just about to open the Dotties community. This week, the Dotties membership is officially going to be open. So if you are somebody who is interested in looking at joining the Dotties, make sure that you check out the link in the show notes, the page that you can go in and take a peek, take a sneak peek at what our members are achieving, like their first 5K months, their first 10K months. going on, building their audiences, building their impact, and more importantly, building their income, then make sure that you check out that link in the show notes, and hopefully I will see you in our community very, very soon. Have an epic week. I will see you on Friday. We've got an excellent guest. We're doing a deep dive into my business, and I'm very, very excited. I'll see you soon.